Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to take a look at the major astrological energies of September 2023. As this is actually a quieter month in the cosmos. In fact, it's a preparatory month for the upcoming eclipses that we'll have in October. And this is also a great period of time to clean up anything in your life that is overwhelming, too much, or excessive. This is a beautiful time to come back to center, get clear, be very discerning around what you want to put energy towards, as well as what is complete and over for you. So we're going to discuss some of these big themes here that we'll be moving through in September. And the one theme I want to start with is that all three personal planets remain in the same astrology sign for this month, meaning Venus will station direct September 3rd and 4th at 12 degrees of Leo. She'll be in Leo all month. Mercury will station direct at 8 degrees of Virgo on September 15th. And Mercury will remain in Virgo for the rest of the month. And then Mars is now in Libra and will continue through Libra for the month of September. So when you think about how each of these personal planets is concentrated on one astrology sign, that gives us a heads up into how this energy is going to be experienced. We are going to also feel a concentration of themes in each of those astrology signs. And it's interesting too how they create what's known as a train, where they're in alignment, starting with Venus in Leo. After Leo comes Mercury in Virgo, and then Mars in Libra. And so how I see this energetically is that, first of all, Venus is the first to station direct as September begins. Again, that happens on September 3rd or 4th, depending on your time zone, at 12 degrees of Leo. So Venus stations direct, which means she comes to a standstill. And there is a stop. There's a full stop. And this is a time of assessment, review, looking at what has come up for you. And as Venus is at that standstill in Leo, she has the ability to tap into more of her power, more of her desires, more of her core strength of what she wants, what she's realized and come to understand about the Leo areas of her life since her retrograde began July 22nd at 28 degrees of Leo. So she's been in Leo this whole time, and she won't clear her shadow until October 8th. So Venus in Leo is where we're doing some beautiful reprogramming on what we require of ourselves and of others. Leo being a personal energy, a personal sign that is the sun, the light, warmth, the biggest source of energy in our solar system. And I feel this Venus is digging deeper into what she has been holding, feeling, and sensing. And she's also getting stronger in not only her sense of self, but in her source of light. I feel this as turning up the light when Venus stations direct and then prepares to go direct. Now, keep in mind, that is a slow process. That is something where it's gathering energy to go forward. And I feel that this Venus retrograde has asked us to tap into more of our unlimited source love, more of the grand love that the universe has for us. And how would you live your life and move forward as you tap into that energy stream? And because Venus is in Leo, which is ruled by the sun, I feel like there is this recoding and reprogramming of what you're good at, what you want, what you know you deserve, what you're worthy of. This is also where Venus in Leo will make some strong boundaries. And she'll say, that's not good enough. That isn't part of how I want to live my life. That doesn't bring me joy and happiness and excitement. That isn't true for me anymore. So Venus stationing direct has us really considering our creation energies. It also has us digging into what do you want to do next going forward based on what you've been reviewing and also learning, because every retrograde brings up things for us to learn from, how we would do it differently next time, what we have come to understand about, say, certain choices or behaviors or actions. We learn from these retrogrades when we're really tuning in to what the universe is putting in front of us to see. And this is where you could have some new choices around the Venus areas of your life related to your heart, where you can see what is correct for you, what feels good, what is true for you, and what is not. And I think this is where Venus is going to summon up more of her goddess energy, more of her queen energy, and she's going to move forward with a new resolve and a higher sense of her power and capabilities. So she has new standards in relationships, in friendships. She has new understandings of her money and her finances because she's more aware of her foundational self-worth. She's aware of what she can create, what she can do in her life, what she wants, and also what she will not accept. No longer accepting folios, no longer entertaining low vibrational friendships, no longer interacting in group situations that aren't good for her heart, no longer connecting with childish gossip or chaos or drama, because an elevated Venus in Leo does not go into the lower expressions of Leo. And that could be part of the realizations she's had during Venus retrograde. Then we will see Mercury station direct September 15th in Virgo, 8 degrees of Virgo. And this is also where Mercury comes to a standstill to get his thoughts straight, to understand, okay, what do I need to focus on? Mercury in Virgo wants to be able to concentrate, to process, wants time to think through anything that's complicated or whatever has become complex. This is a Mercury energy of simplifying it down to what's essential and to see what works going forward. So as this Mercury stations direct, then there's an understanding of maybe what you need to go back and do again, what is going to be a do-over, what is coming around in front of you to think about a second or third time. There can be things that feel like an inconvenience at first, but they're going to require a practical assessment to see what stays and what goes. And that could all take time. And that's also why when Mercury stations direct, more time is required to look at what has transpired and what changes you're wanting to make going forward. And Mercury will clear his retrograde shadow later in the month of September, around September 29th and 30th. So there are energies this month that can feel quite internal, like you're just needing more time and space to figure things out. You want to sit with it, think it through, and you don't want to be rushed. Now, overall, this Mercury in Virgo is receiving supportive trines from Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, and will also be connecting positively with Pluto in Capricorn. So I feel like this is a Mercury retrograde that's going to help you be more productive. It's going to bring in more support. There could be things that come through out of the blue. There could also be some very clear decisions you make based on evidence, documentation, based on what you have seen, based on what is real. And that's part of what is guiding us through September, is we're really coming into what is clear for you, what is clear and evident. What do you know is happening or not happening? Of course, that's a huge topic, but then you would look at where you have Mercury in Virgo moving through your chart, as that is highlighting the areas of life where you're making some new decisions based on that documentation and practical understandings. So you could be simplifying your world during September. You could really be clearing out what is no longer needed. And I feel too, like when we're doing this, our energy lightens up. We feel more buoyant. We feel less burdened. There's a sense of, okay, this was the right decision because I feel relief. So check in on what's in front of you that might be a lot or overwhelming or too much. And when you think about letting it go, do you feel relief around that? Because that could be the universe signaling to you that it's the right decision. Also check in on how you're managing stress, how your body and mind are handling basically modern life, because these energies in Virgo want us to look at how it's affecting us mentally, physically, and energetically, how it's taking its toll on our bodies. And this could be as simple as realizing, wow, my shoulders are really tight, or my hips are really tight from sitting for so long, for not being active enough, for driving or sitting in this car, or always being at a desk without stretching my muscles enough. I feel like this is a good month to really tune in to where the body is holding energies, where it's really tight, where you can even feel discomfort that is requiring your attention, and to do something that really supports opening up the energy streams in your body, to open up the movement, muscle stretching, getting the blood circulating, making sure that your physical self isn't holding more than it needs to. And in fact, you're paying attention to what messages you're receiving from your body. Virgo energy is at its optimum when the mind and body are in alignment, when they feel empowered. And so going for a walk and doing yoga stretches and making sure that you're moving the body is going to open up even more energy that can help move any mental stress or mental fatigue. And that's something that is our responsibility, but that's also a very simple way to elevate your own vibration and to basically look at, am I sitting too much in my life? Am I active enough? Am I doing enough to honor my body's capabilities and how it's designed to move? And then that brings us to the energy of Mars in Libra, which is traveling through Libra the whole month of September. And that is where Mars is about how we move. It's how we take action and assert ourselves. And it's how we're inclined to do so. Now, Mars in Libra is where we can get stuck in our head, overthinking something, weighing the pros and cons before we take action. There can be a responsibility with Mars in Libra. There can also be an awareness of consequences. If I make this choice, this is what may happen next, or how things might play out. And that's part of how Mars in Libra can get stuck in the mental loops instead of taking action. So there could be a desire here to understand more of what is going on for someone else, meaning you want time to think it through and make sure that what you're choosing is going to take you towards the results you want. But what I'm feeling with this particular Mars in Libra that is happening with Mercury in Virgo, there can be too much thinking and not enough action. There can be a sense of, I just need more time. I want to buy more time. I want to think it through, and a lack of actually moving the energy or making clear choices. So September can bring up very big mental and cerebral energies that can take us out of balance. And because Libra is the sign of balance, we're going to need to monitor that for ourselves to ensure that what is worthy of action is happening, or that it's not paralyzed. It's not sitting on the sidelines and nothing is happening. That could be something that comes up in September, is that there's a lot going on internally and maybe there isn't as much unfolding, or there doesn't seem to be a lot coming together just yet. And I think that's also part of this Mercury stationing direct the middle of the month, and also the contemplative nature of Mars in Libra. Now, also in September, we're going to see Jupiter station retrograde at 15 degrees of Taurus. That happens earlier in the month on September 4th. And when Jupiter stations retrograde, then we will have all of the outer planets retrograde in September. And that is a normal cycle we've been experiencing year after year. And so there could be time now to figure things out, to really look at what is important, what's in front of you. I also feel like this is a time of internal support. What do you need to feel supported? What is important for you to tune into in your own energy that maybe you've overlooked? Maybe you've been pulled outside yourself too much. You have too much going on with work, with family, with life, with friends. And this is always a time of the year to come back into yourself and to look at, where is my life going? And these would be bigger questions when we have all of the outer planets retrograde. There tends to be a highlight on the bigger picture. Where is this leading? What do I want? What am I creating? What do I want to manifest next in my life? And all outer planets, and in fact, all planets will be retrograde until January 28th, 2024, and then that's when we'll have all planets direct. So there's going to be a sense here of really digging into what is unfolding in your life that you want to put energy behind. You want to continue it. You want it to grow, evolve, and continue to expand. And then what do you want to cut back? Where are you realizing, I'm not into it anymore, it's not a big deal, and you're just ready to push some things off to the side? This could be the month that you make some clear decisions for yourself, and that you're also really owning it, really strongly owning, this is no longer best for me, or this is no longer where I want to put my energy. And I feel like this is actually going to be a month where not only do we perhaps feel more supported, but some of those decisions are going to be clear. And the reason why I'm saying that is because both the Sun in Virgo and Mercury in Virgo, so both Mercury retrograde and direct in Virgo, are making beneficial interactions with Jupiter in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, and Pluto in Capricorn. So this means there's going to be energies here that are going to lift you up and really be surprising developments that work. The earth signs are about what works, what pays off, where the results show up. It also is about how we are creating and structuring our physical reality. Earth signs are concerned with how we use our money, how we use our time, what we're doing at work. It's also the energy of boundaries and where we have necessary boundaries in our life around our energy, around our needs, but also where we allow those boundaries to strengthen us, to be a part of our core strength, that we trust in our energy and trust what we need. I think that September is going to show you more clearly where those boundaries are paying off, where there are beneficial developments, and the universe is coming through to sync some things up for you. And I feel this so strongly, again, especially with the Sun and Mercury in Virgo, connecting with Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto through these beneficial trines. And this means that you're just going to have a clear yes or even a clear no, but it's going to feel correct for you. It's going to feel right. There's a sense here that I knew it. Sort of like I knew it was worth the wait, because the earth signs will wait. They will wait for things. They are the more patient astrological signs. They are capable of holding strong and just seeing what comes up, what comes through. Earth signs are also perceptive observers, and they have a very keen eye for what is going on in their physical reality. So with these beneficial trines throughout the month, don't be surprised if some things just start coming together. And it's funny because during Mercury retrograde, we can doubt it, right? We're like, I don't know if this is really going to happen. This still might fall through. And what will likely happen is that there will be changes. There will be shifts that occur. But because Mercury and the Sun are interacting with outer planets, these are more substantial areas of your life that are syncing up. These are energies that are clicking, that sometimes we feel like we're just waiting and waiting, and then finally it all comes together. And that could be something you experience this month, that you have some surprising breakthroughs, some really beneficial manifestations, some things that just show up, perhaps that you even forgot about, right? You forgot about an intention you had or something you wanted to manifest, or it just hasn't been front and center. And then it comes through and you're like, oh my goodness, this is excellent, right on time, and perhaps even better than you thought it could be. So keep in mind that that Sun in Virgo is going to continue to assess what can be improved, what can be reorganized. Also know that the Sun in Virgo wants us to be using our skills and talents usefully. And that could be part of the push you're getting from the universe. The universe is saying, you can do this, and is pushing you into something that maybe you're hesitant about or you don't know if you can handle it. But there could be something here that the universe is saying, just give it a go. Just try it. Just see. Because you have nothing to lose by simply showing up and doing your best. So part of this energy too is knowing that there's things that we're meant to connect with this month that most likely have your name on it and want you to really understand what you're capable of. And so this could be anything related to Virgo themes, especially your daily routine, your daily lifestyle and health and wellness. This could be related to what you do at work and how you have fine-tuned your skill set or what you enjoy. It could even be something more mundane, such as, taking on some big house projects or getting things organized and getting things crossed off your to-do list. But I feel like September is a month where we're really cleaning up our energy, cleaning up what doesn't work, tossing it out, or perhaps giving it to recycle, but looking at what is the best use of my energy and how does that support my daily energy levels? If I cut something out, how much does that reduce my stress? How much does that alleviate what's in my mind that I don't want to keep thinking about, that I don't want to give energy to? And this is where you could feel some turnarounds as well. Turnarounds in what you want to do for the rest of the year, what maybe you overlooked and you want to come back to, perhaps a passion project or something that you didn't have time for earlier, but you're realizing, no, I really looked forward to that. I want to keep doing that. So this is a time as well in the astrological cycle where Virgo is about the harvest and what you are seeing results from, as well as looking at the power of your ability to create. Now, when we're in Virgo season, there are a few other signature energies that are more prominent as well. And one of them is Ceres. Ceres is a dwarf planet located in the asteroid belt. And this is the energy of what is harvested, especially after loss. Ceres was the mother of Persephone, and Persephone was abducted by Pluto, also known as Hades, and taken into the underworld, only to return to her mother, Ceres, for half the year. And so Ceres is connected to motherhood, grief, dealing with transitions and separations. She's also the energy of nurturing, caregiving, loving qualities. She's known to be one of the higher octaves of the moon, of lunar energy, and she's about how we deal with things outside of our control and focus on the simple things in life, what we can nurture, what we can take care of. During September, Ceres is in Libra until September 15th, and then she moves into Scorpio. And Ceres in Scorpio is, of course, more intense, more emotional, and is able to grapple with more of her deeper, darker emotions. And so this could be a month where you are deeply assessing more of the Libra Scorpio qualities in your life, how those relationships you've had have formed you, have perhaps brought up loss and grief, but how you've been able to keep going and what is essential for you amongst the daily patterns, the daily habits, the things you need to take care of and can't lose sight of, even amongst some bigger cycles of emotion. So Ceres energy is more prominent during Virgo season. We also have the energy of Hygeia, which is associated with Virgo as well. In Greek mythology, Hygeia was the daughter of a doctor who valued being able to take care of herself, to promote healthy living, very organic, and deeply connected to medical astrology and to messages of the body. So Hygeia is an asteroid, and I have a video for you on YouTube going through more of her chart, but she is about physical care and how you are responsible for that at a more personal level. If you wanted to look up your natal Hygeia in your astrology chart, she is connected with the asteroids, and you can look her up by name. And this is obvious, but Hygeia is connected with the origination of the word hygiene. And then the other asteroid that is connected with this time of the year as we move through both Virgo and Libra season is asteroid Astrea. And Astrea was known as a star maiden who experienced the best of Earth's energy. She lived on the planet when there was peace and harmony and flow, when things were in a state of connection and there was support for the earth. But she was probably one of the first highly sensitive beings, because when there became too much drama and war, she left the planet. And she decided she couldn't be of service during those energies. And so she became associated with the Virgo constellation, and she embodies both Virgo and Libra energy as well. And so Astrea is a beautiful energy of where we need to take care of ourselves and not sacrifice our peace. We need to understand where our energy sinks and also where it's necessary to leave situations. When you have decided this isn't for me, this energy is too disruptive, it takes me away from my true natural frequency and needs, and I need to take care of myself, prioritize my health, my well-being, and my peace of mind. And I also have a video for you on Astrea on my YouTube channel underneath the Asteroids, Goddesses, and Dwarf Planets playlist. So please check that out, because I guide you in how to discover those energies for yourself in your own chart. Then on September 22nd or 23rd, depending on your location, the sun will enter Libra, and we have the Libra Equinox, which is the gateway into the second half of the astrological wheel. This is the halfway point in the astrology cycle that invites us to take our energy out into connections, relationships, and essentially is about how we share our energies with others. Libra is a cardinal air sign that is associated with the initiation of fall or autumn here in the northern hemisphere, as well as spring in the southern hemisphere. The sun enters Libra and will be traveling behind Mars in Libra. So these are our two planets in the air signs, providing objectivity, detachment, stepping back and assessing what is happening on both sides of a situation. It's also where we energetically check in with ourselves to see where we are out of balance, where our energy perhaps is too much in the doingness and needs to be recalibrated into more beingness. Libra being about the scales and the equilibrium of energies in our world, it also highlights where we are using both our masculine and feminine expressions and whether those are in balance or we are out of sync or perhaps overly invested in one expression more so than the other. The energy of Libra is commonly connected with relationships, partnerships, one-on-one exchanges, how we meet others, how we meet them where they are just as they meet us where we are. And even though Libra is ideally about how we negotiate differences, how we move through conflict and we settle things when we have different opinions, when we have very different perceptions and perhaps agendas or motivations, Libra wants harmony and peace. It seeks out that win-win scenarios for everyone involved. However, Libra is also about choices, the choices we make, the choices we're ready to make. And because it is a cardinal air sign, we could be ready for some new choices now, especially as this occurs after both Venus and Mercury have already stationed direct. There could be some new things coming up that are presented for you to consider. As the sun moves through Libra, we want time to discuss it, to share what's on our mind, and to think things through. Now, every air sign follows every earth sign. And this is part of the ongoing pattern in astrology. So we move through an earth sign, and this month it's Virgo. Then we move into an air sign where we talk about what we've been sitting with, where we open it up to discussion. We share with others. We reach out to our friends, to our colleagues, to those we trust, to ask for their thoughts or to share what is going on for you that maybe others haven't been aware of. And so this particular Libra equinox is an opening up to other people's energies. And it's also an opening up to perhaps what you didn't consider or see before, because other people are going to bring more information to the table. They're going to bring more things to consider and think about. So we have very strong mental energy in September, as I mentioned, and it's going to be necessary to get it out of your head. So not only doing the physical movement and exercises that I discussed or mentioned earlier in the podcast, but then to look at, well, who can I take this to? Who can I discuss this with and talk about it with? And conversely, you can be on the receiving end of that as well, where others need to talk something out with you. This is also where we can have some very interesting conversations. We can learn more about a situation or an experience, and we gather more insights that help us move ahead and take next steps. Now, when the sun enters Libra, the attention also shifts from the sun's rulership in Virgo to the sun's rulership in Libra, which is Venus. And so the sun moves into Libra, and this elevates that Venus energy. Whatever has been coming up for you throughout the Leo awareness cycle that this Venus has been in, because Venus has been in this retrograde within herself. Now the sun in Libra wants to make sure that something is fair. Perhaps that even means a balancing of the scales. Maybe there's something that you've been holding back, and now the focus on Libra is about what would be just and bring something into balance. And this can be done in so many ways, of course. But what I'm seeing is that there's something that Venus retrograde in Leo has been understanding about herself. Perhaps something that she hasn't felt strong around. She hasn't had the courage, and she's been summoning greater strength internally that now she will take out into her expressions as the sun journeys through Libra. And keep in mind, this Venus is also ruling Mars in Libra. So we have a big focus on this Venus energy, especially after she is stationing direct to move forward. And it feels like there's going to be new choices made around what is energetically correct for you because of the Venus retrograde, because of what you came to see in a different way, in a deeper level of your being, maybe where you were holding back what you truly want, or perhaps not believing it could transpire or manifest. This Venus energy is elevated with both the Sun and Mars in Libra, but also looking ahead to October, Venus rules both the eclipses in October. The only difference is that she's going to be in Virgo. She will be in Virgo during both eclipses in October. And I'll talk about that when we look at the major astrological energies of October. But just a heads up that this Venus is going to be giving you messages. She's going to tell you what she wants. She's going to make something more evident, more energized, more clear. And she's going to want you to make choices that really allow you to stand in your strength, in your light, in your ability to create, and honors your boundaries, honors your standards. I feel like it also is about honoring justice, whatever that means for you. If something has been out of balance, it is meant to come back into balance during Libra season. And with Mars traveling ahead of the Sun, Mars is going to trigger things. Mars is a trigger planet. He agitates and instigates and sometimes provokes. Although in Libra, he can be more passive. He can be more reserved and almost like he responds based on what someone else does first. Or he learns to take clear action or make clear decisions based on what he wants. So this Mars in Libra can be passive aggressive, can be waiting for others to make choices or decisions, and then he responds to it in kind. Or the other end of the spectrum is a healthier Mars in Libra has a very clear sense of what matters to him, what his objective is, and he will follow through on that, taking steps and being responsible with people along the way. So sometimes this Mars in Libra will stir up conflict, and that is something that Libra also represents. Libra is connected with the people we disagree with. We can't find harmony. We're not on the same page. We want different things. And Mars in Libra can certainly bring that up, can show you, well, how do you handle conflict? How do you handle discord and disagreements? And what does that stir up in you? Especially in relationships, let's say in the workplace, with colleagues, with people you have to see regularly. And how do you navigate that when there's things that are uncomfortable? And Mars in Libra will keep talking it through, wants to keep the lines of communication open, even when there are disagreements. So that is going to be part of the energy signature towards the last week or so of the month, especially. Now in September, we will have the Virgo new moon that is occurring on September 14th at 22 degrees of Virgo. And as with all new moons, this is about new intentions, what you want to create, and where your energy is motivated to make something new in your life. And this particular Virgo new moon is working powerfully with Uranus in Taurus. So it has an energizing quality to it that can help advance and move forward exactly what you want to start or begin. And this happens at the same time that Mercury is stationing direct. And so this is when you could feel like Virgo season is finally starting around September 14th, September 15th, where you feel like, okay, I've got the plan. I know what to do. I'm ready to go. And that's where you could feel the energy come through and motivate you forward to take next steps. Then this month, we also will have an Aries full moon at 6 degrees. That occurs on September 29th. And that is a full moon designed to bring you back into your energy, to what you want, what you've been learning about yourself that's important, that you need to also honor and listen to. Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, the sense of self and how we honor those needs. We honor who we are. And that's how we then connect through the Libra energies that are healthy for us, healthy, correct, and satisfying. So the Aries full moon brings us into alignment with parts of yourself that you don't want to leave behind. you don't want to forget about or sacrifice or be out of touch with. And so I'll be discussing more about the Aries full moon as we near the end of September. And be sure to check out my new Nodes of Fate course that discusses how the North Node in Aries is going to be opening up new chapters for you for the first time in 18 years. So this is where you get a heads up on the new starts that are coming through for you, where to say yes, where to trust a new beginning, also to pay attention to what is correct for you that is important to honor and trust without thinking that you have to keep the peace for others. So the North Node in Aries is about new chapters, new beginnings, what you're ready for next, because it uniquely has your name on it. It's connected to your frequency. And this is especially true if you have planets or points in Aries, but it's also true for everybody on the planet, where the North Node in Aries wants you to move towards something new or different, also wants you to feel strong in who you are now. So please check out that course that I have for you. It is only $22 and it's designed to be one that you reference until January 2025, because the nodes of fate will be in Aries and Libra until early 2025. And in this program, I go through a lot of specifics. I show you how to work with the timing, to understand when the timing is ripe for you and when things are designed to show up, because of how the nodes are connected with a destiny, a fate, something that's right on time for you. And you want to be aware of it, right? You want to make sure that you know what that is and you see it when it comes through. So as always, thank you so much for joining me for this podcast episode. I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday for another astrology podcast. You can find all of my current offerings, courses, and programs at mollymccord.online, where I have a variety of astrology courses to help you understand your chart better and become more of your own astrologer. Also, check out my playlists on YouTube. As I mentioned, that's where you'll find more about Astrea, Hygeia, and the other asteroids and dwarf planets, and the symbolism and significance they hold for us, especially around more niche topics in astrology, which is really cool to dive into. Wishing you a beautiful journey through September. We will keep talking about these energies on my Wednesday podcast as well. In the meantime, make the most of what shows up for you this month. Be aware of too much mental energy, too much thinking and not enough doing. And also really trust what that Venus in Leo has been showing you about the Leo energies in your life. So take good care, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon in another podcast.